Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 17th. I'm Vincent Fanvan, and this is Always Booked Live, your daily briefing to keeping your calendar and your pipeline always booked. On today's show, we're going to break down a jobs report that has economists worried. Energy bills could be finally getting relief, and why consumers are spending despite feeling terrible about the economy, and what this all means if you run a local service business, an online coaching or membership business, or a B2B agency or firm. First up, the unemployment rate just hit 4.6%, the highest in 4 years. Here's what that means for your business. So let's start with the November jobs report that finally dropped today after weeks of delay. The numbers show that the labor market is flashing warning signs that every service business owner needs to know about. The U.S. unemployment rate climbed to 4.6% in November. That's up from 4.4% in September, marking the highest joblessness rate since September of 2021. That's according to the New York Times. The economy just added 64,000 jobs last month in October, but October saw a loss of 105,000 positions. And that means that the U.S. has now lost jobs for 3 out of the past 6 months. The Bureau of Labor Statistics also reported that wage growth slowed to 3.5% year over year. This is the slowest pace since 2021. What's especially concerning for small businesses right now is the underemployment picture. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. The U6 rate, which includes people who are working part-time who want to work full-time, plus the discouraged workers who have stopped looking for jobs, has jumped to 8.7% in November. And that's the highest since August of 2021. Now, the federal government shed 168,000 positions in October and November, and that combined delay of resignations has really hit payroll now. Meanwhile, sectors like healthcare have added 46,000 jobs, construction added 28,000 jobs, leisure and hospitality lost 12,000 jobs, and transportation dropped 17,000 jobs. And so coming on today is Spencer Donaldson, CEO and founder of First Future and Captive Demand. Hey, Spencer, like when you take a look at yesterday's job report, like as a business owner, like what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
I hate to say this, but for me, I get a little excited just because I know I can hire better talent right now. And I don't love that people don't have jobs, but we can get out there and really figure out, who the best people are for the roles that we have. If you're a med spa, if you're any type of business, you should have job postings out. You should be hiring right now.
Yeah, that was my number one takeaway right now as well. You know, it's a double-edged sword. Like obviously as business owners, like we want the economy to be booming. We want low unemployment rates, but that is the clear takeaway for any type of business owner is that the talent pool is out there right now. And if you go and you post for these jobs right now, you're going to get a higher caliber of candidates than you've been able to do in the past. And, the same talent level, if you've had attrition in your business and there's been roles that you haven't backfilled, now's the actual time to go post for those roles. Like, what have you seen in terms of like how you plan for your cash flow and cash spend right now with the overall market?
I mean, you definitely need to be holding on to cash, but if you want to hire right now, now's the time to put out those roles that you think that you might need and start fielding folks to come in and interview. So basically just a lot what you think you can spend, even if it's less than what the market can afford right now or what is the perceived market value for a position. Start thinking into next year, how am I going to allot my spend? How am I going to bring people in that are really talented to grow the business? And then, once you learn that they're great people, you can give them raises from then on out. But, we have people coming to us right now that are asking for jobs there and taking a 20-30% pay cut, and they're happy with it. I don't love that. I would never want to bring someone in that feels that undervalued. But there's a balance. And right now is the time to bring those people in. But you definitely want to be planning, have some cash in the bank because we don't know what the economy is going to do. The numbers are all over the place. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. So it's one of those times where you just got to be really on your toes.
Two big trends that we also saw coming out of this jobs report. Number one is that office workers, white collar roles where, we've been told our entire life, go to college, get a degree, get one of these safe office jobs is, for the first time ever, many of the individuals in those roles no longer feel like that safe job is safe anymore. What advice would you give to somebody who's thinking that today, maybe thinking about like jumping out into their own like consulting business or some type of like consultancy independently, as opposed to continuing like to climb the corporate ladder?
Personally, I wouldn't do it, but I've always generally been a business owner, but I wouldn't be taking a job right now just because of the uncertainty. I would say get out, consult, figure out what you can do. Most people will pay you on a consulting basis. It's less risk for them. Can get paid good money. You can take on a couple of clients for consulting, see how you do, and then figure out what type of business you want to build off of that. So I would say right now, if there's any time to do it, it's now. The economy's a little bit in a struggle. AI is now a thing that gives you some superpowers. So get out there and just try it, get in the market and start selling what you're good at.
Yeah, I just think of it as like a diversification play. The reason to take a W-2 salaried role is for stability. But if that stability is not actually there anymore, which it isn't with the layoffs that are happening right now, the smarter play might actually be to diversify by having 2 to 3 to 4 clients that you're serving. And, if any one of those companies hits financial troubles, or if any one of those companies is gaining optimization as a result of AI, you leverage your bets so that it's only 20% of the impact instead of 100% of the impact. The other piece that we're seeing is that the fear of the layoffs is actually driving consumer sentiment to an all-time low. What advice would you have for service business owners who are really trying to take a look at like planning, the revenue that they anticipate will be coming in over the next quarter or two, and just like uncertain whether the consumer is going to show up?
I don't think you have to be uncertain. I think you have to be the best you've ever been. So I think you have to get out there and deliver an experience that no one else is delivering. You've got to find new efficiencies with AI and with your team, with your amazing team that you just hired. But a lot of the businesses I'm working with are doing amazingly. And it's only because they are changing and they're pivoting in their business as they go. They're not running like it was last year or the year before. They're finding new things to do. If you're not doing that, you're falling behind. So I'd say don't worry. As long as you're changing, you can't keep the business you had last year. If you plan on just coasting, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think one thing that's clear when you take a look at like cash-strapped consumers, the trend towards financing is something that like every service business should be taking a look at, whether that's buy now, pay later, whether it's self-financing, whether it's using third-party financing. Second one is, making sure that you're really leading with value, clear bundles, clear memberships to be able to drive recurring revenue and be able to show the savings off of that recurring revenue. Right now it is cheaper to double down and invest on loyalty. Consumers are spending right now, but they're spending with businesses that they're already familiar with. They're spending with businesses that they already trust. So getting that loyalty program in place, now's the time to be able to do that. And that's cheaper than the acquisition of new customers. I know you do a lot of work in the email marketing space, but you're going to see better returns off of investments on things like email marketing versus lower ROI marketing campaigns.
Oh, for sure. I think those are all great things. The biggest thing we've seen is just like offering different payment options, payment plans, getting creative in how you're structuring deals. And if you're a med spa or something like that, it's the same thing. You got to have upsells and downsells. And a lot of these companies aren't focused on making sure that they also have lower priced offers that when someone comes in, they can sell them. Right now, more than ever, you need those downsells to be able to continue because people are price strapped. So if you can't sell your higher end items, you're going to have to sell lower end items. That's just the way it works.
Yeah. And on the upper end of the market, like if you have premium, true luxury goods and services, that part of the market right now is actually somewhat unfazed. And so, the piece where I see businesses struggling is trying to live in the middle, trying to be the value player as well as the luxury player. Right now is a moment where every single business just needs to take a look and get crystal clear on your messaging, on who you're serving. And the path in the middle is where businesses are struggling right now. But businesses that are clearly able to differentiate and showcase the value that they're providing, whether that's through a discounted bundle or whether that's through like a better price through a long-term membership, or the businesses that are really leaning fully into premium price point, premium services, are the ones that are doing well and are being unfazed by like the moment that the economy is currently in. Spencer Donaldson, CEO and founder of Captive Demand and First Future, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, Spencer. So for service business owners, if you're a local service business, whether you run a med spa, a salon, a fitness studio, or a restaurant, this is your signal to get smarter about retention and scheduling. And so when unemployment rises, your existing clients might pull back on the frequency, or they might even cancel. But it also means that talent becomes more available. And now's the time to upgrade your hiring, lock in the best team members that you possibly can, and make your booking system frictionless. If your clients can't book easily on a mobile device, or if they're getting email reminders instead of push notifications, you're losing out on rebookings. For online service businesses, coaches, course creators, membership platforms, rising unemployment means that people are looking for career transition and skill building, and you need to lean into that demand, but also recognize that discretionary spending really tightens. And so making your value proposition crystal clear, making sure that your onboarding and engagement are automated so you're not chasing leads manually. B2B firms, professional service firms, if you're seeing this first, clients are delaying projects, they're stretching payment terms out, they're asking for discounts, tightening your cash flow forecasting and getting aggressive about collections. And consider how a client portal that centralizes invoice, project updates, and communication can actually reduce your friction and improve your payment cycles. Still to come, Congress just moved forward with 2 bills that could cut on energy costs. But first, let's talk about what's happening in consumer spending. Consumer confidence is tanking, but holiday spending is up. Here's the disconnect and here's how to use it. Let's turn to a paradox that's defining this holiday season. Americans are feeling terrible about the economy, but they're still opening their wallets. Understanding why is critical to how you market and how you price your services right now. Despite consumer sentiment dropping to its lowest level in over a year, shoppers are still spending this 2025 holiday season. That's according to CNBC. A record 203 million people have shopped over the Thanksgiving weekend, and many are spending 3 to 5% more than last year. But here's the catch. The spending is bifurcated. High-income households, especially those on the East and West Coast, are driving a bulk of the holiday sales, buoyed by surging stock market that's increasing their wealth. Meanwhile, lower-income families are pulling back. PwC initially forecasted that consumers would spend less this year, particularly among Gen Z shoppers, but the revised estimate that actually went upward in late October after seeing resilient spending patterns among affluent consumers. Walmart CEO told analysts that while low-income shoppers are under additional pressure, high-income customers are choosing to shop with them more often. And Gallup reports that Americans now estimate that they'll spend $788 on average on holiday gifts. That's down sharply from $1,007 in October, the sharpest year-over-year decline on record. So what's the takeaway for service business owners? If you're running a local service business, especially in the wellness, premium fitness space, this is your green light to double down on premium offerings and VIP tiers. Your highest income clients are still spending, so you want to package those services into holiday gift bundles, promote gift cards aggressively, and make sure that the checkout experience is seamless on mobile. If somebody has to click through to 2 pages, 3 pages, or in order to just buy a gift card, you're leaving money on the table. A mobile app or a client portal that lets them purchase, rebook, or gift in one tap, those are the customers and companies that are winning right now. For online service businesses, this means bifurcating your messaging matters even more. If you're targeting upmarket clients, executives, high earners, business owners, you want to sell transformation and ROI, not discounts. And if you're serving budget conscious consumers, emphasizing payment terms, financing, and immediate wins is what matters. And making sure that your CRM is segmenting those audience so that you're not sending the same message to everybody. B2B and professional services recognize that your clients are facing the same split as well. Enterprise well-capital clients are still investing in their strategic projects. Smaller clients are scrutinizing every single line item. So you want to tailor your proposals accordingly and consider offering tiered services. So a client portal means that giving transparency to project progress and deliverables while building trust is really important, because people are taking a look at, is it worth it? And that doubt kills renewals. Today's show is brought to you by Viton One, the AI native platform that turns your CRM and tools that you already use into a custom branded mobile app and client portal. If your clients are bouncing between booking links, emails, and DMs, Viton One wraps that all into one place on the home screen of their phone so that they can book, rebook, and stay engaged without you chasing them. If you want to see how this works for local service businesses, online experts, and B2B firms, head to Viton.com, VYTEN.com, and request your free app strategy session today. All right, let's wrap with some good news for your energy bill. Congress just advanced 2 bills that could slash energy costs. Here's what's in them. And finally, a rare piece of good news out of Washington. 2 small business energy bills are moving forward that could provide a real relief from soaring electricity and gas costs. The SPEED Act and the Energy Choice Act have both advanced in Congress and are now heading to the full House for floor votes. That's according to the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Now, the SPEED Act standardizes permitting and expediting economic development, aims to clarify ambiguous provisions and speed up environmental review processes that have really slowed domestic energy production. And the Energy Choice Act would stop state and local governments from banning energy services based on energy type, which effectively is preventing a moratorium on natural gas hookups and other restrictions that have driven up costs for a small business. So in the NFIB's most recent problems and priorities survey, small business owners ranked the cost of natural gas, propane, gasoline, and diesel as their 6th most pressing issue. And many owners have taken to extreme measures to adjust, including scaling back on operations or passing costs on to customers. With the energy demand at an all-time high and driven in part by AI data, domestic energy production is more critical than ever. So what's the takeaway for small business owners? If you operate a brick and mortar location, whether that's a salon, a gym, a restaurant, a clinic, a studio, energy costs are likely one of your top 3 fixed expenses. So the SPEED Act and Energy Choice Act won't cut your bills overnight. But if they're passed, they're going to stabilize and potentially lower costs over the next 12 to 18 months by increasing supply and reducing regulatory bottlenecks. In the meantime, though, you want to audit your energy usage, consider upgrading to energy efficient HVAC and lighting, take a look at your demand response programs that your utility might offer. For online service businesses, this doesn't directly hit you unless you're running in a co-working space or a home office with high energy use. But if you're a B2B service provider working manufacturers, working with logistics companies or individual clients, energy costs are squeezing their margins, and that's going to affect their ability to be able to spend with you. And so use the conversation to get smarter. Hey, we know your energy costs are up. Here's how our services reduce overhead somewhere else. And so for B2B service firms, especially, and if you're in the manufacturing, logistics, or facilities management space, these bills are a lifeline for you. So you want to track their progress. And if you have relationships with your congressional representatives, make sure that your voice is being heard. Lower energy costs means better margins, more predictable pricing, and the ability to invest in growth. And so including that technology like AI-powered client portals and mobile apps that streamline your operations and reduce your manual work. 4 stories to sum up our day today. Your electricity bill might be subsidizing big tech's AI ambitions. Senators want actions. 3 Democratic senators, Elizabeth Warren, Chris Van Hollen, and Richard Blumenthal, have launched an investigation into whether AI data centers are actually driving up residential energy costs. That's according to the New York Times. In letters that they sent to Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and others, the senators noted that these data centers consume now over 4% of the U.S.'s energy, and future is expected to hit 12% within the next 3 years. Utility companies are investing billions to upgrade the grid, and those costs are being passed on to consumers, especially in areas with heavy data center activity. Wholesale electricity rates have surged as much as 267% over the past 5 years. For service businesses, especially those in states like Virginia that have high data center concentration, that means that your electricity bill could raise 25% by 2030. So now is the time to lock in those energy efficient upgrades and explore solar and battery storage if you own your actual facility. Small businesses are pushing back in a new heat regulation that could cost thousands. The National Federation of Independent Businesses is urging Congress Congress to block proposed regulations that would require that businesses take specific actions when indoor temperatures hit 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So this rule, which critics say is vague and burdensome, could actually force small businesses, especially restaurants, gyms, and warehouses, manufacturing facilities, to invest in really costly HVAC upgrades or face penalties. So for service businesses operating in warm climates or in heat generating equipment, this could mean significant capital expenditures at a time when your cash flow is already tight. And so if you're in a high heat environment, you want to start budgeting now and consider lobbying your local representatives if this affects your operations. Global business activity is slowing as tariffs bite. Here's what it means for your pipeline. U.S. business activity growth has slowed to a 6-month low in October, with purchasing manager index dropping to 53.0. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. These tariffs and global economy uncertainty are weighing on expansion, especially in manufacturing and global business sectors. For B2B service firms, this means that your clients are likely delaying projects and tightening budgets. So you need to shift your sales strategy to emphasize cost savings, efficiency, and ROI. For local and online service businesses, this indirect effect will slow hiring and less discretionary spending from your clients. So you want to focus on retention and upsells, making your services feel essential rather than optional. This has been Always Booked Live. Thanks very much for joining us today. I'm Vincent Fanvan. We'll be back tomorrow with all the news and ideas that keep your calendar and your client relationships always booked. If you want to see how a Vyton mobile app or client portal could look like for your business, head over to Vyton.com, Vyten.com. Thanks for listening.